Hi, host families. Dana Hunter, Breeding Program Manager. We're coming to you today to give you a presentation on our core strength exercises that we ask you to do with our breeding stock dogs, kind of the why and how and when you should be doing it. So Sam McCormick, one of the breeding specialists, will be doing the presentation today, and Stacy Booms is here as well.
Hello.
So thanks.
All right, so we will get started. So conditioning exercises for breeding stock dogs. Why are we doing these exercises? For the boys, we're doing them to help keep their core and low back fit for the act of breeding. This will help maximize their breeding career in our program and also help decrease the risk of injury happening during the breeding process. For the girls, we want to keep their core fit for whelping puppies and to help push those puppies out in a quick, efficient manner during whelp, get everybody here safe and happy. And then also faster recovery to get them in ideal condition for the next breeding. So in between litters, just helping them recover. When? So it's very important that we are addressing when these exercises can be done. For the boys, anytime, every time, all the time. We want to make sure that they're nice and fit, and so that when Stacy and I call you and say, hey, he needs to come in, he's ready to go. As far as for the girls, there's specific time frames that they can and cannot be doing these exercises. For once the puppies have reached 6 weeks old, after they've been born, they've reached 6 weeks old, you can go ahead and start these exercises with mom. That'll be just before your litter return typically. And then it'll take her about 8 weeks to reach pre-pregnancy fitness level. So this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. We need to take time and really ease her back into these exercises. Don't expect her to pick up where she left off prior to whelping puppies. And then you can continue those exercises all the way through until her next pregnancy ultrasound. So once we've confirmed her pregnant again, that's when we'll discontinue these exercises to give her some time to, and her body to just adjust to carrying those puppies and getting ready for whelp. The first exercise that we'll talk about is a sit-up. The purpose of this exercise, and you'll see kind of a common theme here, to strengthen the core and the lower back. So to start, you're going to have the dog sitting, hold the food slightly over the nose. You're going to think about your hand being a magnet to the dog's nose. You want to keep your hand touching that dog's nose and slowly raise it up over the dog's head so they follow it. When the front feet start to lift off the ground, say yes and reward the dog. So the second that those toes come off the ground, reward the dog and let them come back down. The ideal position as the dog has built up the strength in their core is that their spine is going to be nice and straight and vertical, and the paws are going to be tucked in. Both their rear paws that are sitting on the ground, we don't want them splayed out to the sides. We want them tucked right in under the dog. And also their front legs. They are going to have them kind of relaxed and in front of them instead of sticking out. As you advance in this position, you're going to raise the food higher over their head until they get to the point of sitting up. So you've already taught them that just getting their toes off the ground is the initial step, and now we're moving to where they're sitting in that full upright vertical position. The stronger and more comfortable they become, you'll see those front legs start to relax. They won't be using them for counterbalance to try to keep themselves up. They'll be able to relax a little bit more because their core will take over as the strong point. If their legs are pointing straight out, that means they're still struggling with their balance and they haven't quite built that much strength yet. The goal here is to do 3 reps of holding the position for 15 seconds with a 5-second break in between each rep. This might take several months to achieve. It's very important not to overdo it. At first, it's going to be 1 second, maybe 2 seconds, and just teaching them to get their feet off the ground. You're going to slowly build that to a little bit longer and to a little bit straighter up. It's also very important to not train this exercise 2 days in a row. We want to make sure that we give them some time in between for their muscles to recover and to strengthen before doing this exercise again and pushing them even further. So we have a couple of videos. Stacy's going to get here.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put food, I have a piece of string cheese. I'm going to put food magnetized right to her nose, and I'm going to gently go up over her nose. What I'm looking for is her feet to come off the ground. Yes. And when they do, I'm going to let her put her feet back down. I'm going to say the verbal word yes, which means I'm marking that behavior. That's what I like. I'm going to bring her back up, yes, and bring her back down. That's for a brand new dog. What they're doing is they are trying to find a way to balance themselves. So she can go up and balance pretty easy. Again, she's been doing this for weeks, and I can keep her in that position. I actually can push on her, and she has to fight back to stay in that position, which every time I do that engages her core, right? She's building all those stomach muscles.
Okay, come on, Junior. On, Junior bug. Up. Yes, very nice. Good girl. Sit up. Sit up. Come on. Yes, good job. Yes, good job. Yes, good job.
Very nice. So we just saw 2 videos there. The first one is our manager of puppy and canine development, Bev, and her dog Wink. Like she said in the video, her dog had been doing these exercises for several weeks in a row and was already built in that core, so could stay up much longer and could handle that little bit of pushing that Bev did. But that's not something that's kind of our goal of what you want to get to. That's not where your dogs are right now. So we want to help build them to that nice and slowly over several weeks to months. That's kind of the final picture. And then the second video that you saw is Dana with her career change dog Junebug, and she was learning just to get her front feet off the ground. In the very, very initial stages, that's the first time that she was doing this exercise. So the next exercise that we'll talk about are diagonal leg lifts, again, to help strengthen the core and improve balance. To start, you'll calmly lift one front paw and the opposing rear paw up towards the body. Lift off the ground about 3 to 4 inches and hold for a few seconds. So you'll do the left front paw and the right rear, or the right front paw and the left rear. As your dog continues to get stronger, they will be able to hold this longer with better balance. The final goal here is to do 3 reps of 30 seconds on each side with a 5-second break in between reps. So again, it's just a couple of seconds at the beginning, and then over time, you're going to be able to increase that to a total of 30 seconds each rep. Do not train this exercise on the same day as the one-sided leg lifts, which we'll talk about next. It's very important that we're alternating and never doing them on the same day.
I'm gently going to pick the leg up, straight in line with her body, and I'm going to pick up her rear leg. Her core is holding her in position. You see her rocking back and forth. That is because she's trying to hold her balance. Good girl. And then I will gently put them down. It's not her favorite exercise. 1, because she doesn't get treats while I do it. And 2, it's hard work. So I'm going to take her leg where it bends. It's called the pastern, so that I can hold it underneath her. I'm going to take Wink. I'm going to take her front leg, and I'm going to take her back leg, and I'm going to lift them straight up. Good girl. So she's kind of rocking back and forth. She's holding her balance. I'm trying not to let her balance on me because I want
How should we show this, huh? How should we show this? Hey, come over here. Good job. Get you in position here. There we go. Stand. Stay standing. Good boy. Good job. Come on, touch. Yes. Very good. Yes. Very nice. Yes. Very nice. I don't have anything. No, stay standing. Stand. There you go. Thank you. Yes. Good job, buddy. Yes. Good job. One more. Yes. Very good. I got a little weaker on that one, huh? It's all right. Yes. Good job. Good job.
So that was diagonal leg lifts. And a couple of things I wanted to touch on. Bev made a good note in her video indicating try not to let the dog lean on you. The whole point is that the dog is engaging their core, not utilizing you to support them. They're going to struggle a little bit or wobble a little bit on the legs that you're holding up, and that's okay. But you don't want to have the dog lean completely on you, like with their side or anything. The other thing is this doesn't necessarily need to be done on a platform like you see in both those videos. It can be done on the floor. No matter how you're doing it, I do recommend that you have something that provides a little bit of traction for the dog. So I have tile floor, I would put down a little rug or something so that they don't slip while you're trying to do this and that they're more comfortable. So do whatever most comfortable for you and your dog. The next one we'll talk about is the one-sided leg lifts. They're very similar, except they're with the legs of the same side. So again, to strengthen the core and improve balance. To start, you'll calmly lift the front and rear paw on the same side up towards the body. Lift off the ground about 3 to 4 inches and hold for a few seconds. It's also important that you're just taking these feet right up to the body. You don't want to go in front or out to the side or behind. It's very important that they're just going straight up to the body. That's going to give us the most work in the core to be able to build that conditioning. For advancing, as the dog becomes stronger in the core, they'll be able to hold this longer. And the goal being to reach 3 reps on both sides for 30 seconds each with a 5-second break in between each rep. Again, do not train this on the same day as the diagonal leg lifts that we just talked about. It's very important that you alternate days and give those muscle groups time to recuperate.
You're going to lift the same side up at the same time. Is she leaning in? Very little. But see how her legs aren't out to the side? They're straight up. And it works just different muscle groupings by doing that. Now again, listen to her. She's working hard. She's excited, but she's also had to just work. So we don't want to do it for too long because it's hard work on them. So you're
All right, so those are the one-sided leg lifts. Next, we'll talk about wave or high five. This is going to be utilized to help stretch those front legs and the shoulders. To start, you'll place a piece of tape on your dog's forehead above the eye or on their paw. Just kind of depends on your dog. My dog doesn't react to tape on the paw. She doesn't really care, but the tape over her eye did work well for her. When they lift that paw, the very first second those toes come off of the ground, you want to mark yes and reward. And you're going to do this continuously. Get in a nice rhythm of doing it and repeating yes, reward, foot up, yes, reward. You just want to train one side per day. That will help avoid any confusion. If you're trying to do both sides in the same day, the dog's going to get really confused and probably not pick up the trick very well. The goal is to get your dog to perform this on cue without tape and to do 3 to 5 reps of that. When your dog is in a rhythm, add a cue like wave or whatever you want, high five, give me 5, anything. To say your cue just before they lift their paw off the ground. So you've already got them in a good rhythm. Now you can kind of anticipate when they're going to pick up their paw. You say wave, they pick up their paw, you reward. Over time, you can remove the tape and cue wave. They're going to start anticipating when you say wave, they know what's coming next, so they pick their paw right up. If your dog forgets, gently tickle where you normally put the tape to remind them of the trick.
Yes. Yes. 5, yes. 5, yes. So now I can start putting a cue to it. 5, yes. A lot of people call this 5 and 10. 5, yes. While she's eating, I'm going to take the tape off. 5, yes. Now I can start to get the behavior without tape. 5, yes. So it is cue 5. She performs. I'm going to mark yes, and I'm going to feed. 5, yes, feed. Now you would do the same thing on.
Yes. 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 How fun.
So these two videos showed a great difference in how far along the dogs are in the different exercises. So the first video with Wink and Bev, Wink knows this very well, and she's ready to present that with just a cue right away. The videos that I'm doing with my dog and that Dana's doing with her dog, those are the first times we're ever doing these with our dogs. So this is going to be much like what you're experiencing if you're just starting to train these exercises. You can see in my video, my dog knows the right-handed wave, but I never taught her left-handed wave. So she started to offer the right hand and I completely ignored her. And then she offers the left and I marked that right away to tell her, yes, that was right. That's the one we're working on today. Try a couple different types of tape if you're having trouble getting it to stick. You can try, just pretty much any different kind of tape. positioning it a little differently above or over their eye, just to see how they react. And it's very important that, like Bev showed, taking the tape off while the dog is eating, so that they're learning that it's not a big deal to have the tape on or off, and also to catch them in that repetition that you can just say the word again and they are just so used to being in that rhythm that they bring their paw right up. It's important to capture that behavior. We'll move on. So sit to stand is the next exercise. Purpose of this exercise is to work the core muscles and increase the rear leg strength and rear end awareness. This is particularly good for the males, just considering their physical attribution to the breeding process. So it's especially important for them. To start, have the dog rest the front paws on a platform. You can use a book, a little storage box, anything that's about 2 to 3 inches high. You'll have them sit first with one hand, hold the treat in front of their nose, with the other hand gently place near their rear to guide into a sit by helping them to tuck their rear in. So not just a regular sit, we want it to be nice and neat, where their rear end is actually tucked under a little bit. And then you'll reward. The next step is to ask for a stand. So you'll hold the treat to the nose. With the other hand, you'll tickle their belly to get them to stand, and kicking out their back feet to get into that stand position. So you'll see the goal here is that their front feet stay on the platform through the position change and the back feet kick out. We don't want a lot of movement from the front feet because that really means that they're engaging their rear end and really making their rear end work. Once the technique is refined, you can move to a higher platform, but we never want to go to a platform that's higher than the dog's elbow when they're standing. And then the goal to be doing 3 to 5 reps of this a day. You'll see in the videos here, we've got Bev's video where she is doing it on a platform, and then in Dana's video, she's just doing it flat.
Forces their rear to stand, moving back. Sit, stand. Excellent. So I raise my
Good job. All right. Good job. Yes, very nice. Good job. Stand. Stand. Yes. Very good. Sit. Yes. Good job. Stand. Yes. Stand. Stand. Yes. Very good. Stand. Yes. Sit. Yes. Good job. Stand. Yes. Sit. Yes. Very good. Stand. Yes. Sit. Yes. All right. Good girl.
So you can see in Dana's video, she's got a nice stand cue that she already is working with, and she's just doing it on a flat surface. The next progression for her would be to move to just that short platform that the front legs are on, so a little 2 to 3 inch raise, and then going up higher to a higher platform. You can do this exercise either on the ground or up on a platform similar to what they were doing, and then just introduce the platform, an additional platform for the front legs. If you're having trouble getting the dog to stand, just remember that you can tickle their belly a little bit, and that's gonna cause them to stand up and kick their back feet out if they don't already have a nice stand command. The next video is stand, down, stand. This is gonna help flex the front and the rear while building the core. So we're helping to stretch kind of those muscles all out and continue to build the core. So to start, you'll go into a down with the dog. From a stand, you'll hold the treat at their nose with their head and muzzle parallel to the ground. And you'll push back into the dog while saying down. Then to ask them to come into a stand, from the down, you'll slowly bring the treat up and forward in an arc while saying stand. The goal here is that the dog should lay down in a sphinx position and none of the paws should move during that transition. So from where they're standing, their paws should stay in that same place. They should lay down back into their haunches in a sphinx position and then come back into a stand, and their feet shouldn't move at all during those transitions. Overall, you want to do 3 to 5 reps of this in a day. Of the complete stand down stand is 1 repetition.
Down. 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 Thank you. So her feet didn't move. Stand. Very little movement. Down. Good. Stand. Excellent. So the goal is, just like the sit-up, the food is connected to her. Down. Down. Stand. Because if I bring my food too far, I force her to move her feet. My goal is for her feet not to move, because that means all of this is engaged in the work. Down. Stand. So you can do this again on
There you go. Good job. Stand. Yes. Down. 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 Yes. Good job. Stand. Yes. Down. Yes. Good boy. Stand. Stand. Yes. Down. Yes. Good boy. Stand. Yes. Good job. Down. Yes. Boy. Tough work, huh? Stand. Yes. Good job. Down. Ah. That's my bad. Yes. Good job. Yeah, you're the Lord. You're the part of the Lord.
All right. So the last exercise that we have today is going to be the stretching on a stair exercise. So you'll use this to stretch and build the core and help stretch the lower back. To start, use a treat to lure the dog so that their front paws are on a stair or similar height platform. I used a small step stool, you'll see a couple of books, a little food bin, anything like that will help. Just make sure it's something that's sturdy that won't tip over. Just keep the treat just out of reach so that they're stretching up and forward for it. There should be a nice straight line all the way from the head, down the spine, and down to their rear. Start with 3 to 5 reps of just a few seconds, stretching with 5 to 10 seconds of rest in between. So again, this is something that we're going to want to slowly build the duration over time. And our goal would be to hold that stretch for 30 seconds, rest 5 to 10 seconds in between, and stretch 30 seconds again, and doing 3 to 5 reps of that.
and to form a straight line from the back of their neck to their hip. And basically stretch for the food. Stretch, stretch, stretch. In order to do that without going up the next stair, she's actually engaging. You can see all the muscles in her side working to try and reach for that. Good girl. Excellent. So if this were a stair, she wouldn't be able to keep going forward because the stair would stop her here, right? So I'm looking for this to be in alignment with her spine. And if I wanted to get really, really technical about it, I could also hold the base of her tail and provide a little traction.
Oh, okay.
See her really engaged now?
Oh, holding her tail.
Yep, so I'm holding at the base of her tail and she's stretching to get to the food.
Good, good. Are you recycling them? Come on. Good. Stretch. Ooh, too much. Okay. Yeah. Good. Yes. Off. Good job. That's a lot of work. Ready? Whoa. Careful, careful, careful. Yes. Yes. Good girl. Off. Well done.
All right. So that was stretching on a stair. And those are all the exercises we had for you today. Again, big things to keep in mind are that it's going to take time to build your dog up to the final goal of what each exercise looks like. We want to make sure that we are taking it nice and slow, not overdoing it. Keep in mind if there's exercises that aren't supposed to be done 2 days in a row, or if they're not supposed to be done on the same day as another exercise. Please check that when you're looking at putting together your routine for the day. And as always, if you have any questions, we're happy to comment or help troubleshoot. If you're having a little difficulty getting the dog into the right position, we can certainly help you figure out why that is, or if there's something different to be doing, and just kind of sort through that. So we hope that that will help you with getting your leader dog moms and dads back into shape, and help keep them nice and healthy for their breeding career with our program. We also have a couple of little bloopers just for fun because videoing at home has been very interesting.
Yes. Out. Seriously? Cut it out. 9. Sit. Sit. housed.
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you again for joining us today. We're really glad to have you. And as always, let us know if you have any questions.
And
Bye. Oh, sorry.
super big thanks to Stacey for being our video producer for this too.
No problem.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.